Elnur is in Baku. Good to see you again, Elnur. Did you hear the president's speech? I mean, Sarah, our correspondent, just mentioned it there briefly. It was quite clear, was it not, that the president is ready to take the fight to Armenia. He was listing the areas that have been liberated. He even changed one of the recently liberated areas' names to give it an Azerbaijani name. He talked about the hardware, the Armenian military hardware that has been destroyed by the Azerbaijani army. He seems ready to continue this fight.
You rightly mentioned that the names were given back. In fact, they were not renamed. I think that the old names, they were put back, as the most of the names after the occupation, Armenians have changed, but we just restored the old names. When it comes to the battlefield itself, as the president has reiterated many times, that we are looking for a peaceful solution, but unfortunately, what we realized that the peace, with the Armenian side, the peace needs to be enforced. And unfortunately, all the liberation campaign is taking its own toll in terms of the humans and the victims and the destruction. Definitely would prefer that the Armenians liberate the lands by their own in accordance with international law. And the president has reiterated many times that we are ready to start the substantive peace negotiations. But unfortunately, the messages that we are receiving from the Republic of Armenia, they are still in the old style. They are still fail to realize that the status quo that they were referring so many times during the last 30 years has changed, and that we don't have the same the same front line, which was the previously. I mean the Karabakh region and plus 7 adjacent regions. I think that there is type of ignorance now happening on the side of Republic of Armenia. I think they lack to acknowledge, they fail to acknowledge the losses on the battlefield, and that leads to further escalation. I think that if the Armenian side can acknowledge this, and if they can stop the bloodshed and the international law can be settled in a peaceful way, which is the priority for Azerbaijan.
Yes, but President Aliyev did say that international organizations have so far failed. So again, the question is asked almost every day, who is going to be the outside party, the third party that is going to bring your two countries to at least begin talking about how to end this?
The President Aliyev have reiterated that Azerbaijan is ready to start at any time the peace negotiations, provided that we see the clear sign from the Armenian side on the seriousness, and we see the commitment to this. Unfortunately, whenever we agree on the ceasefire, we see that in the first opportunity they violate the ceasefire, and it is not a surprise for us, because I think the only argument the Armenian side had so far over the last 27 years is the physical occupation of the lands, and that was the only argument during the negotiation table. So I think that they are trying to hold on to this argument, keep the occupation, and trying to again establish sort of status quo, which will basically be a continuation of the same policy that they have been pursuing last 27 years, namely the policy when their only argument is the de facto occupation, and the international law shall come second, according to the Armenian side. But now, as we have started liberation campaign, we have been very successful. I think that we have broke down many myths and many ideas and the wrong concepts that the Armenian has been developing so far. I think that they have believed in their own myths, namely that they are unbeatable in the battlefield, namely that they can win the war by simple occupation, namely that they can push the international community, recognize the occupied territories. I think all these myths are just broken down, and I think that now the major conflict is happening not just on the battlefield, but is happening in the minds of those who are building up who were building up this ideology laid on the foundation that the occupation can be justified, even in the based on the history, which is definitely invented history, and ignoring the international law. I think that the major message is that going back to Armenia now from the battlefield is the message that they have to change their ideology. They have to change their the approach to the regional cooperation. cooperation, regional coexistence. They have to appreciate that only good neighborhood and international law can lead to the genuine cooperation and the prosperity.
Elnur, thank you so much indeed. Elnur Aliyev speaking to us from Baku.